You know how people say your first love leaves a mark on you forever? Yeah. Well, mine carved her name with a box cutter and walked away like it was art. I was 17. A summer night in Sacramento, California. Backyard barbecue, paper lanterns strung between trees, the smell of beer, burgers, and someone trying too hard with cologne. I was standing near the cooler, pretending I liked IPAs, when I saw her, Alexis. She was 15. Knew someone's cousin. Brown hair, loud laugh, too much eyeliner for a backyard party, and somehow the most confident person there. We talked about movies, music, how everyone looked trying to act older than they were. And that was it. One conversation, and I was gone. Over that summer, Alexis and I became one of those couples. Inside jokes, matching hoodies, spending entire days doing nothing. We texted until our thumbs hurt. I walked to her house just to say goodnight in person. It felt real. And honestly, for two teenagers fumbling through hormones and insecurity, it kind of was. Looking back, I don't even blame us for thinking we'd last. At 17, forever is just another word for next month. But then came Jordan. Jordan had been my best friend since 6th grade. We played football, traded game consoles, built a treehouse that stayed up for exactly 1 week. He knew everything about me, which, turns out, was a great advantage when you're trying to steal your buddy's girlfriend. I started noticing things. Alexis laughing too hard at his jokes. Jordan lingering after I'd leave the room. Them texting while I was right there. At first, I told myself I was being paranoid. Teenagers are jealous. It's normal, right? Then I saw her lock her phone the moment I walked in. Saw Jordan's name pop up at midnight. Hearts. Winks. When can I see you again? And one night, just a random Tuesday in August, I went over to her house without texting first. Her parents weren't home. The living room light was off. But her bedroom window? Lit. Curtain barely drawn. I walked around the side. Quiet. Like I didn't want to see what I knew I was about to see. I did see it. I'll spare you the details. You already know. And if you've ever felt that kind of betrayal, then you know what hit me wasn't just heartbreak. It was the kind of pain that resets your entire system. Makes you question who you are. Who you were. Who you ever meant to someone. I didn't scream. Didn't knock. Didn't text. I just turned around and walked back home. That was the night I stopped believing in certain things, like loyalty, or the idea that people say what they mean when they say, I love you. Alexis tried to call. Jordan left some awkward voicemail full of fake regret. I deleted it before it finished. The weirdest thing? I wasn't even angry. I was just done. The next day at school, I didn't sit at our usual lunch table. Didn't explain anything. And when people asked, I just said, we're not together anymore. Some tried to dig. Others already knew. As for Alexis and Jordan, whatever it was they had, didn't last. It never does, when it starts like that. But me? I learned how to walk away. And I never forgot that lesson. 16 years. That's how long it had been since I'd last seen Alexis. Not in a photo. Not through some mutual friend's blurry Instagram story. I mean face to face. In real life. In a place where I wasn't expecting her, or anyone from my teenage past, really. It was a Tuesday. I just wrapped a meeting downtown and ducked into this quiet little lunch spot in Denver. I'd moved here a few years back. Architect now. Mid-level partner in a firm. Life wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. Predictable. Comfortable. I was halfway through my sandwich, answering emails between bites, when I heard someone say my name. Michael. I looked up, and there she was. 16 years older, yes, but still her. Same laugh lines when she smiled. Same spark in her eyes, like she was always just about to make a joke. Only now, she was holding a tote bag, wearing a smart blazer, and had a ringless hand with a coffee in it. Alexis. We both laughed. Not because it was funny, just because it was surreal. The years between us collapsed in a second. She was in town for a conference, she said. Lives in Chicago now. Marketing director. Divorced. No kids. I told her a bit about my own situation. Single. No marriage. A couple close calls, none that stuck. We sat. Talked. Forgot about lunch. What started as an awkward hello turned into a 2-hour conversation. We didn't mention the past at first. We kept it light, careers, places we've lived, dumb adult stuff like how coffee's gotten worse and more expensive. But under all that, there was something unspoken. Eventually, as the table cleared, she said it. You ever think about how things ended back then? I looked at her. She wasn't smirking. She wasn't deflecting. She really wanted to know. Yeah, I said. More than I probably should have. She nodded. Same. We walked out of the cafe together. No plans. No pressure. Just a quiet kind of warmth I hadn't felt in a long time. Over the next few weeks, we texted. Sometimes it was practical. Hey, I'll be in Denver again next month. Sometimes it was silly memes, music recs, old inside jokes we were surprised we both still remembered. And then came dinner. A real one. No teenagers. No lies. Just two people trying to figure out what this thing was again. You know what the weirdest part was? It wasn't like picking up where we left off. It was like opening a book we'd once read, only now we understood the characters better. She wasn't that 15-year-old anymore. I wasn't the same kid with a busted ego and a broken heart. But something between us? It had survived. Not unchanged, but not gone, either. I caught myself watching her, the way she talked, the way she listened, how she still tilted her head when she was trying to decide if you were full of it or not. I knew that look, and she caught me smiling more than once. I didn't know where it was going, didn't even know if it should go anywhere. But sitting across from her, hearing her laugh, I realized something. Even after all these years, even after everything, that spark? Yeah, it was still there. We didn't rush into anything. No dramatic declarations. No late night, what are we now, conversations. It just happened. Naturally. A few months after that dinner, Alexis took a job offer here in Denver. Said it was a promotion, a good move for her career. Maybe it was. Maybe it was partly us. I never asked. I think we both understood the timing didn't need to be questioned. She found a place just 10 minutes from mine. And then, bit by bit, she started leaving things at my apartment. A toothbrush. A sweater. That mug she insisted made coffee taste better. Until one weekend, we both realized she hadn't gone back to her own place in over a week. And that was it. No big conversation. No moving boxes or lease terminations. She just stayed. And I wanted her to. We slipped into a rhythm I didn't know I'd missed. Morning coffee together. Late-night grocery runs. Dumb arguments about which pizza place was objectively better. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. There was a quiet joy in it. She'd curl up with a book on the couch, and I'd be working on floor plans or sketches at the kitchen table. No talking. No music. Just being. And it was enough. Sometimes I'd look over at her, hair tied up, glasses sliding down her nose, and think, this is it. This is what peace feels like. Not fireworks. Not obsession. Just waking up next to someone who knows your weird sleeping habits and still kisses your shoulder in the morning. She fit into my life like she'd always been there. And I guess, in some strange way, she had. We started going to the same gym. Hosted casual dinners with friends. Took weekend trips, nothing crazy. Just little getaways to nearby towns or national parks. She loved finding quirky herbs. I loved seeing her excited over things like clawfoot tubs and wood-burning stoves. Every now and then, one of us would stop and say it out loud, "Can you believe we ended up here?" And we'd just laugh. Because it was absurd. 17 and heartbroken. 33 and sipping wine in a rented cabin, arguing over board games. Life's weird like that. We didn't talk about the past much. Not anymore. Not because it hurt, just because it didn't matter now. I wasn't carrying around old anger. She wasn't trying to make up for anything. We were just here, present, together. And for the first time in years, I wasn't wondering what was missing, because nothing felt like it was. Honestly, I didn't think I'd ever get this kind of calm again. Not after what happened back then. Not after the years of dating that felt more like job interviews than connection. But there she was, wearing my hoodie, stealing my fries, laughing at my dumb jokes like she was 17 again, but also nothing like that girl anymore. We had routines now. Shared playlists. Inside jokes. A favorite Chinese takeout spot. Love, this time, wasn't a roller coaster. It was a porch light left on. A stocked fridge. A saved seat at the movie theater. It was steady. And I was happy. Truly. It started small. A shift so subtle, most people wouldn't notice. But I did. Her phone. She used to toss it on the coffee table screen up, never thought twice about it. Now? Always face down. And always with her hand still resting nearby, like it might bolt at any second. First, I brushed it off. Everyone gets more private sometimes. Maybe it was work stuff. Maybe I was reading into it. But then came the late texts. The be right back moments with her phone clutched like a lifeline. Still, I didn't say anything. I'm not the jealous type. And I damn sure wasn't about to become the guy who accuses someone just because they laughed a little too hard at a notification. But my gut? My gut was pacing. There were other things, too. She started working late. A lot. And not in the burning the midnight oil kind of way, in the I got held up in a meeting kind of way. Always the same tone, always the same delay. And I wanted to believe her. God, I tried to believe her. I'm not an idiot, but I'm also not a detective. And the truth is, I wanted this to work. I didn't want to go digging, because deep down, I knew what I might find. Then she brought home a gift. No occasion. No reason. Just a new pair of hiking boots I'd mentioned in passing weeks ago. She smiled so wide when I opened them, like she was proud of herself, like she'd checked off a box. And I smiled too, said thank you, kissed her on the forehead. But inside, something twisted. It felt like guilt, like she was trying to outrun it, trying to mask it with a thoughtful gesture. I wanted to be wrong, more than anything, but every instinct in me said otherwise. I started noticing her scent was different when she came home. Not perfume body wash, like she'd showered somewhere else. Or someone had. She kept locking the bathroom door when she never used to. And I told myself, maybe it's just boundaries. Maybe it's nothing. But it wasn't nothing. I'd been here before. Not in the same clothes. Not with the same person. But the pattern? Oh, it was familiar. Too familiar. The way she avoided eye contact during simple conversations. The little flick of her phone screen under the table when she thought I wasn't looking. The sudden interest in her appearance, new clothes, new hair, more time in front of the mirror. I knew this road, and it didn't lead anywhere good. Still, I didn't confront her. Not yet. Because when you've been burned once, truly, deeply, you don't throw accusations around lightly. You wait. You make sure. But my stomach already knew. My chest already knew. Something was off. And this time, I wasn't a teenager. I wasn't going to crumble. If this story was repeating itself, I'd be ready. I don't remember what exactly made me pick up her phone that night. There wasn't a fight. No drama. I was just standing in the kitchen, waiting for the kettle to boil. Her phone lit up on the counter, charging. A message popped up. Name, Thomas. Now look, I didn't have a list of suspects. But when you see a message from a guy you've had beers with at one of her work parties, the same guy who talked cars with you while your girlfriend presented slides to a boardroom full of investors, you don't expect to read this. Tonight was incredible. Still smell you on me. I just froze. Not with anger, but with this weird sense of déjà vu. Thomas. A colleague. Married. His wife? 6 months pregnant the last time I saw them. She was leaning against the wall, rubbing her back while he fixed her a mocktail. And I remember thinking, solid guy. He's got her. Turns out solid guy was sending shirtless mirror pics with captions like, "Miss you already." I didn't scroll right away. Just locked the screen and walked to the bathroom. Washed my face. Looked at myself in the mirror. Was this my thing now? 2 betrayals, same lifetime? But this time no rage. No breakdown. Just stillness. Like someone inside me hit the emergency brake. Like every ounce of maybe I'm overthinking just vanished. Later that night, I opened the phone again. Their chat went back months. Started off like, work banner. Then, "You're so easy to talk to. You see the real me." Then came the photos. Bed sheets. Legs. Bathroom selfies. Then the big ones, the talks. He's emotionally checked out. I don't even know how to tell him anymore. I knew how. I walked to the closet, grabbed my suitcase. Quietly packed the essentials, laptop, documents, passport. No screaming. No slammed doors. Her phone was still on the table. She came out of the shower in a towel, hair wet. Saw me zipping up the suitcase. She blinked. "Where are you going?" I looked straight at her. Figured I'd get out of the way. You and Thomas seemed to have a lot to figure out. She didn't speak right away. Then her eyes darted to where her phone had been. "Wait, it's not what you think." "Of course. Isn't it always?" I didn't even reply. Just walked out the door. I drove around aimlessly that night. No music. Just the hum of the engine. You know what's weird? I didn't feel broken. I felt light. Free. Not because I stopped loving her, but because once you've lived through betrayal twice, it's not heartbreak anymore. It's a lesson. And this time, I learned. You either draw the line or spend your life apologizing for not walking away sooner. I chose the line. She started texting the next morning. First, the basics. "Please talk to me. It's not what it looks like. Can we meet?" Then came the paragraphs. Long ones. The kind where they try to rewind time by flooding you with justifications. I was confused. It didn't mean anything. "We never planned to hurt you. Right. Because planning would have made it more respectful. She called. I let it ring. She left voicemails, crying in the first, angry in the second, then back to begging in the third. It was like watching someone flip through every possible face of guilt, trying to guess which one might get them out of the fire. I didn't respond. Not because I wanted to punish her, but because some silences are louder than any argument. And this time, I wasn't arguing. I was done. I called my lawyer that afternoon, told him everything, sent him what I had. He asked, "You want to do this fast or clean?" Both. We filed for divorce within the week. No drama. No back and forth. Just clean. Cut. The kind of cut you make when something is infected and you finally realize you're not saving it. You're saving yourself. Meanwhile, she kept trying, messaging mutual friends, telling her version, the he just left version, the we were distant version, the he shut down emotionally version. Funny how the one who cheated always ends up the narrator. But truth doesn't need PR. It stands on its own. And I didn't waste a second trying to defend mine. Because anyone who knows me, really knows me, already saw what happened. She stayed in the apartment for a while, told people she was rebuilding. From what, though? She lit the match. I just stepped away from the flames. Thomas? Gone. Turns out his wife found out, too. And she wasn't the forgiving type. Rumor was, he moved out, quit the firm, and tried to start over. Whatever. Not my business. Let them sort through the ashes. I was done playing the fool in their soap opera. I moved into a quiet place just outside Boulder. View of the hills. Big windows. Peace. I started running again. Reading more. Cooking. Nothing flashy. Just calm. You know the best part of all this? There's no more second guessing. No more, maybe I'm being paranoid. No more analyzing text tone or wondering why someone's phone is always face down. Just me. In my own space. At peace. Sometimes you don't need closure. You just need distance and a locked door. And I gave myself both. It's strange what you notice when the noise is gone. The first morning in the new place, I stood in the kitchen with a cup of black coffee. No sugar, no creamer, and realized I hadn't heard silence in months. No pacing in the hallway. No phone buzzes followed by hushed voices. No tension humming under every word. Just a clock ticking. And the sound of me exhaling without even realizing I'd been holding my breath for so long. I didn't bring much with me. Some clothes. Books I actually cared about. Old vinyls. A worn-out hoodie I couldn't part with. Everything else. Sold, donated, or left behind. There's something healing about shedding not just memories, but objects tied to them. I cleared the shelves. New frames, new art, no his and hers mugs pretending to belong to a story that was already over. No pictures of us smiling in places we weren't happy. No souvenirs from trips that ended in silence. No ghosts on the walls. I wasn't patching up a broken life. I was building a new one from the ground up. The routine changed too. Early mornings, sunrise runs, rain or shine. Healthy breakfasts. Not because I had to, just because I wanted to feel better. I got into woodworking. Started with a shelf, then a bench. Now there's a coffee table in the living room that I built with my own hands. Imperfect, but mine. Every scratch, every corner, honest. No pretending. People asked, "How are you really doing?" And for once, I didn't have to fake it. "I'm all right," I'd say, and mean it. Because healing didn't look like fireworks or grand gestures. It looked like making your own bed. It looked like reading until 2 a.m. without anyone asking where you were. It looked like laughing, genuinely, when you burned your first attempt at homemade lasagna. It looked like peace. It sounded like quiet. And it felt like freedom. She tried to come back into my life a few times. A forwarded meme. And "I hope you're doing okay" on my birthday. A shared photo of some mutual friend's baby. I didn't block her. I just didn't reply. Because moving on doesn't always mean slamming the door. Sometimes it means leaving it open and just never walking through it again. I started journaling again. Not about her. Not about the betrayal. Just about the present. About what I'm building. Who I'm becoming. It's easy to get lost trying to glue together a version of yourself that existed before. But honestly, that guy's gone. And I don't want him back. He tolerated too much. Doubted too often. Settled too hard. The version of me that walked out of that relationship? He builds coffee tables now. He knows what peace sounds like. He's not angry. He's awake. It was supposed to be a quick stop. Just coffee. I was in the middle of errands, wearing a hoodie with sawdust on it and jeans that should have been retired a year ago. Definitely not dressed for running into anyone I knew. But that's always when it happens, right? She was sitting near the window of the coffee shop. Emily Carson. We hadn't spoken in, God, what, 12 years. We went to college together. Same electives, same study groups for a while. Never dated. Never flirted. Just understood each other in that quiet. We see the world the same way kind of way. She looked up as I walked in and smiled. Not the fake. Oh, I guess I know you smile. The real one. The one that comes with raised eyebrows and a little head tilt. Michael, she said, like a question and a surprise in the same breath. We talked for almost 2 hours. Started with the usual, what are you up to now? Still in the area? You look good. Then drifted into real things. Loss. Change. The weird twists life throws at you when you think you're finally in control. She had gone through a divorce too. A couple years back. No drama, just slow erosion. Her words, not mine. Said she tried to fix it for too long. Said she forgot who she was. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I knew exactly what she meant. We didn't dig into details. There was no need. It wasn't that kind of conversation. It wasn't about pain. It wasn't about futures. It wasn't about what if. It was two people sitting in a sunlit coffee shop, trading pieces of themselves without expectation. And at one point, maybe mid-sentence, maybe mid-sip, I caught myself smiling. Not out of politeness. Just genuinely smiling. And for some reason, that stuck with me. I didn't ask for her number. She didn't offer. We didn't end it with, let's do this again sometime. No awkward hugs. No promises. Just, take care of yourself, she said, standing up, brushing the crumbs off her lap. You too, I replied, and meant it. She left, and I stayed for a minute longer, finishing the rest of my coffee that had long gone cold, but still tasted like something warm. Walking out into the late afternoon light, something felt different. Not huge, not like a turning point, just a shift, like something had realigned, quietly, gently, inside of me. Because it turns out, sometimes the healing moment you never see coming is just a soft smile from someone who remembers who you used to be and sees who you are now. Not to fix you, not to save you, just to remind you, you're still here, and you're okay. I didn't go looking for it. Honestly, I wasn't even curious. But life has this way of putting things in front of you, even when you stop asking questions. A guy I used to know from Alexis's office reached out. Nothing dramatic, just a LinkedIn message. Said he saw my name pop up on a proposal. Remembered we used to chat at those corporate BBQs. Then, like it was nothing, he added, hey, did you hear about Alexis? Rough year, man. Hope she's okay. I sat with that for a second. Did I hear? No, I hadn't. Not since the papers were signed. Not since I packed her last box and left it on the porch. So I looked. Not because I missed her. Not because I wanted something from it. Just because the human brain is weird like that. She lost her job 3 months after the divorce. Apparently, there was an internal review. Budget cuts. She tried freelancing for a while, then posted something about letting go of expectations and finding alignment. She moved twice. Went from the apartment near downtown to some retreat outside Santa Fe. The captions changed. Less smiling with friends, more crystals and sunsets. A lot of talk about healing energy and trusting the universe. The last post I saw was a quote in cursive over a picture of ocean waves. Sometimes you have to lose everything to remember who you are. No likes. No comments. I sat there, staring at that screen. Not angry. Not smug. Just still. I didn't feel satisfaction. No, I told you so. No imaginary victory lap. Just this quiet absence of anything. And maybe that's what peace actually is. Not some triumphant moment. Not some huge emotional climax. Just the day when you look at the person who tore you open and feel nothing at all. She went one way. I went another. And whatever she's chasing now, answers, meaning, redemption, that's her road. Not mine. Because I already did the hard part. I already lived through the storm, cleaned up the wreckage, rebuilt the foundation. And I didn't do it so I could look back. I did it so I could stand where I am now. Clear, quiet, whole. These days, life is quiet. Not empty, not lonely, just steady. I wake up around 6. Brew my own coffee. None of that sugar-laced stuff Alexis used to like. The mornings are slow now. No tension in the air. No silence packed with unspoken fights. It's just me. A dog I rescued last fall, name's Jasper, and a playlist that leans heavy on old blues. I work from home most days. Consulting now, nothing flashy. Projects I choose, hours I control, clients I respect. There's no one checking my calendar but me. And honestly, that kind of freedom feels like gold. I don't go chasing some dramatic new chapter. No big reinventions. No inspirational quotes taped to my fridge. Just small things. Like learning how to cook something better than scrambled eggs. Like hiking every other Sunday without checking in or being asked where I'm going or with who. Like sitting at a diner alone and enjoying the silence without feeling like I've failed at something. There's peace in that. A kind of quiet fire that burns slow, steady, and never asks too much of you. There was a woman I met a few weeks back. Her name was Marie. She ran a local bookstore and knew more about biographies than anyone I'd ever met. It wasn't a spark, not like in the movies. There were no fireworks. No sudden music playing in my head. It was simpler than that. She laughed easily, talked like she wasn't in a rush. We had coffee, then we had another one, then a walk. That's all. No promises. No wait. And that's the beauty of it. Because I'm not looking for someone to complete me. I'm just open to someone who doesn't deplete me. I don't know what's next. I stopped needing to know. Some people rebuild by throwing themselves into distractions. New lovers, new cities, new hairstyles. Me? I just started choosing peace over noise. Choosing honesty over chemistry. And if I get lucky, if this quiet fire keeps burning long enough, maybe this time I won't get burned. Maybe I'll just stay warm.